We'll do something a little different today at Yeah Buddy Garage and not working on my own stuff. So hopped over to Mirror Image Auto Body. This is Megan's NNBS. And they've already done quite a bit of work to it. Chris over at C&K Metal did a cam swap and they've been cleaning this up, making it nice. But now Megan wants to throw this thing on air. She wants to do 26-inch wheels. She wants this thing to lay frame. So the boys already started getting everything taken apart. We're gonna be throwing on this extensive rear C-notch, step notch actually. So we got our trailing arms, bag mounts, step notch, panhard bar, upper bag mounts. We got the tank, and then all the fun stuff. Compressors, bags, you know, bushings, small parts, all the good stuff right there. So today's gonna be a little different. Gonna have all kinds of noises going on in the background, which is, this is a working shop. But basically what they did was they already got the frame leveled this way. So when we go to put in our C-notch or step notch, we're gonna be able to set the axle where it needs to be to make sure the step notch is right where it needs to be. So this has no problem going up and down. Also gonna be cutting off a lot of these mounts and stuff that we don't need. And look at this new poster they got from Battle of Bama. The truck might look a little bit familiar. Throwing in the first trailing arm here. Okie dokie. Trailing arm set. So you got a lower bracket here that goes up to the axle. So once we get the pinion angle set, Steve's gonna weld this on the axle so it's gonna be locked into place. Then you have your lower plate for the U-bolts that are gonna go over top. There's no instructions with this kit, but I think between all of us we can figure out how it goes together. All right, let's take a couple of measurements. They got the step notch centered over the axle, and Megan's been hard at work grinding all of this stuff. Steven's getting her tacked into place. Got to use these C-clamps to make sure that notch is right on the frame, you know, like just pinching it.
Because they were all bent from shipping.
Yeah. Safety squints. There she is. Took some pressure off the back of the frame by putting the jacks under the frame right there, lifting it up. So he's got some really good tacks on this already. I mean, that's basically a finished weld. So he'll burn this all in. This has a lower cap that goes in to block all this off, but we'll get this all welded up. Or I'm not doing any welding. I'm just going to watch him do it with my safety squints. I thought that was going to be like a bent piece.
No,
they just give you a little plate, pieces of plate steel. Well, Steven got that all welded in there. Next, we're gonna figure out this pinion angle. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna measure off of the engine and transmission, match the rear axle to that, and then these will be parallel, so this drive shaft will be exactly where we want it. All right, so the yoke coming off the transmission's right at 6 degrees. We double check our pan. Yep, it's about 6 degrees. Oh, your drive shaft's hitting the cross member. The axle's not gonna be able to go up enough. Got the old pinion angle sit here to match the transmission, so now they are sitting exactly, how do you do this? Opposite of each other? Don't ask me how I'm holding the camera. Steven's gonna go ahead and tack in our mounts there for the axle. And then also we prep the panhard bar to be mounted. So that'll go in about like that. It's pretty level with the axle at ride height. And then, oh yeah, then we gotta weld in these right here These are going to be the bag mounts. We already got those all prepped up, so.
I gotta set up on the other side.
Makes way more sense this way. So yeah, he'll just. God dang, man.
Well, a little bit.
It jumped.
All right, now what are we hitting? It's probably the bottom of the cab. Making some good progress here. We got the tank mounted. Just welded a couple bolts to a piece of flat stock, bolted it through. They get pretty warm. Right now we're cleaning off this cross brace. This was the driver's side shock mount. And then we're gonna mount the compressors kind of the same way. Just have flat stock going right here with the compressor sitting on top bolted to it. And that is gonna solve where we're gonna mount everything. Got our airlines run into a temporary coupler here. So we're gonna throw some air in these bags and see if the suspension articulates. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Yes, sir. Do you want to mount the fuel tank? All right, let's mount the fuel tank. The drive shaft is hitting the floor just a little bit, so we can't air it out all the way. Fast forward a couple of days, actually like 2 weeks, and Steven got some stuff painted and wrapped up on the back end. So he's got his air tank done, pan hard bar. He got the battery mounted back here with this cross member. Remember, we had to cut that for the drive shaft. They installed a 2-piece drive shaft. I wasn't here for that, unfortunately. They also got their shocks in, which their drop shocks were too short, so they had to go with a factory shock. Got their compressors wired up. Basically, everything is put back together for the most part on the rear end. And he found a set of 26s. These things are huge, dude. So we're gonna move to the front end now. And we got quite a bit of work to do. We got to do new upper and lower control arms. We got to cut, I believe, the pocket for the coil spring so you can put your bag in there. We got to take out the inner wheel wells. We got some slosh tubs we're going to put in here and fit. Now the slosh tubs are for an OBS truck, like an 88 to 98 1500 Silverado. So we were talking to Mike. He goes, man, I think you can use these with a little bit of modification. So we're going to do some R&D for them and see what we got to trim up and cut out. And maybe they'll be able to offer an NNBS set of tubs for you guys and gals so you can cover your tread, man. So here's the parts for the front end. I'm gonna correct myself. We only gotta swap the lower control arms. Gonna reuse the upper control arms. And these are the brackets we gotta install. Here are those slosh tubs. And then this is gonna be the hard line. So he's not using the plastic airline. He's gonna go with this aluminum hard line. And then you got all your bolts and brackets and whatnot. There it is. There we go. Scrap file.
Now we got room for that 26.
There we go. So we had to take off our fuse block right here. We had to get rid of our washer tank and basically clean all this up so he can start cutting over there. Same thing on this side. Their truck had an intake right here. The coolant overflow goes right here, and the battery was right here. So the battery, again, has been relocated to the back. But this is what he's cutting off. So he's cutting literally everything you see here, except for these bolts, these holes. There you go. Yes, sir. Well, after a lot of grinding, finally got the frame smoothed out here. Now the frame isn't straight. It's got a lot of pockets and movements and whatnot. But the big thing is that this upper control arm mount bracket sits as flush as it can against the frame, and it aligns with these factory holes. Now what the kit says to do is to put those 2 bolts in and then tow it to an alignment shop so that the shop can get the casting camera and everything set, and then you tack and finish welding in that bracket. You done over here yet? No. No? Well, somehow I got tasked with cutting out the inner fender structure. It's probably a terrible idea. So one of the things you got to do, well, let's backtrack here. So there aren't any instructions with this kit from Extensive. And we've been kind of figuring this all out. But one thing we did know is that they swapped out the steering tie rod ends with these Heim joints right here. And they wanted to drill out the steering knuckle to a 1/2 inch, which we did. And when you're on the website on Extensive, it says, oh, you got to send it back so we can do that. But they weren't really clear about the work that needed to be done. So the stock configuration for the upper and lower control arms are both of the ball joints are facing down. And this lower control arm from Extensive inverts that ball joint to where it's facing up. So the stock spindles, this needs to be reversed. So Steven had this bit laying around, 7-degree reamer ball joint bit, and it's a little bit too small. It doesn't fit the taper. So he just ordered one on Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow. So again, they're not really clear about what they do to the parts. So we just tried to swing this on our own, and now we lost a day, which kind of sucks because he needs this space for his shop. Our reamer bit came in. So we gotta re-taper the lower ball joint opening on the spindle. And I got it marked out here. So we grabbed a caliper, just kind of marked out where I think it needs to be. Let's give it a shot and see what this does.
Should we put a nut on it and tighten it and see what it's like?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go too far.
I got it. Well, that feels tight in there.
I think it's stopped there.
I think you're right. Got the spindles done. The lower ball joints are reamed out. Steven just pointed this out to me. These are the only instructions that came with the kit. That's it. And basically they tell you to take a 1/2 inch off of this, and then you have a new Heim joint that goes on for your steering. That goes right to the knuckle. Remember, we drilled this out with a 1/2 inch straight bit, and that'll take care of the steering. And we also noticed, looks like we're gonna have to remove the sway bar. Of course, there's no instructions telling you any of this, so we're just figuring it out as we go. What's up?
Just kind of winging it.
Yeah. There we go. Almost. Got another inch or so. All right. So all this has got to go, dude, like you were saying. There it is. Sweet.
Okay.
Now we're hitting the inner fender. I'll grab a Sharpie and start marking this wheel. Well, Steven's over there sneaking up on that side. I'm gonna go ahead and start it on this one. Cut out the majority of the bulk, you know? This side was much easier. We're actually hitting the lower control arm on the frame, if you can see in there. So the top of the lower control arm is hitting the frame. And this wheel has full movement. So, like I said, this side was much easier. We did some relief cuts on the firewall to get the wheel to sit back, and then we cut this. Now we're moving to fitting these slosh tubs. This is the 88 to 98 OBS tubs. So these, again, aren't meant for the NNBS. We're gonna make this work. So we can either...
So we need to knock the back corner out. The tub.
All right. I'm all the way forward right now.
Okay. So that corner needs a lot more throw.
Okay, so now I see we're hitting the booster. Well, it's hitting the top right here. You can see. Because I feel like if you take it right here, it should. That's pretty dang straight, man. Starting to make some good progress. So you see, we'll have the relief cut around the brake booster, the brake lines, and then we finally got this piece on the right side, and we're running into the interference of this bracket here. Back still is cleaner than the firewall, and if you look down here, the front edge is actually tucked away nicely. You can't really see it, but right here, in between the radiator core support and the fender. That gives a nice finished look there. Yep, that's good. Oh, dude, look at that cut. Looks like a professional did it.
What'd you expect?
Yeah. My tub is looking pretty dang good. You know what's next? Fuse block.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Let's get this thing in here. We got to figure out where this is going to go. We'll find a new home for this.
Cause that was down there, wasn't it?
Honestly, you could just take it out of this case. Perfect. Goes right there. Hang on. Oh man. Didn't think about that.
No, I thought about it yesterday.
Did you?
That's why they sell those struts. Can you fold them down?
Bigger than what everybody said they were.
Oh, you can tell me that.
Does that drop now then?
Well, it's closed. That's going to be where that electrical box is. We can close the hood without the cover on, but we want the cover on, so they're probably going to chop the hood up. And now we can fit this side. Getting close. We're missing 2 air fittings to be able to actually like get this on the ground and make it go up and down. So hopefully those will come in today. Just got the other wheel back on with the tubs installed. Had the clearance around these AC lines and coolant hoses and chopped some off in the back. This one fits pretty good too. It was a little harder to do this side than the other side, but it looks nice.
Thanks, sir.
Pretty good. Hey, look at that. It works. Fittings came in, we got the bags on, testing the systems right now. You guys just heard we fired the truck up and it runs, which is it's a nice surprise when you take all the electrical system apart, put it back together. Very good. I'm finishing running the lines for the gauges, and I think we're gonna get this thing on the ground tonight. That's it. There she is on the ground. Let's see if I can show you. Oh, I gotta turn the camera sideways. Almost on the frame. See, it's hitting the exhaust down there and a couple of other things. So once Steven gets to chopping that up, relocating that exhaust, this thing will be on the ground. Oh yeah, the lower control arms hit the frame, so he's got to notch out where they hit. But man, those slosh tubs are looking good. We got to get them dialed in, get them painted. Basically, we're going to do like nut certs that screw in from this side of the panel into the existing inner fender structure to hold it in place. And that's really going to be it after a coat of paint. And then also got to relocate the coolant reservoir. Going around back, you see everything's nice and neat, put away. Again, went with the hard lines instead of the plastic lines. And relocated the battery. So we're going to be putting the bed back on. I think what he's going to do is just cut out for the C-notch right now, or the step notch. Well, this is the end of the video, but I kind of feel like it's not the end of the video, or it shouldn't be, because we still have so much work to do on this thing. It's been one of those deals where we've just been running and running, trying to get this thing back on the road. Steven and Megan got a business to run. I got YouTube videos I got to make. I'm getting ready to go out of town, and it's just been fighting us tooth and nail. Everything we're doing with this truck has been fighting us. But that's all right. We got it to a good point now where I can step away. He can take some time to do the smaller stuff. And then when I get back in town, we can start fitting the bed back on and doing all that fun stuff. The gnats out here are crazy. I'm gonna end the video here. I appreciate you guys and gals hanging around and watching this one. If you wanna see some of the other videos that I do, you can check this one out over here. Or if you wanna see some of the show coverage I do, you can check this one out over there. Or if you wanna subscribe to the channel, that would be freaking awesome. As always, I appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next video. Oh my gosh, dude.